As the NBA offseason takes shape, no player's future is more uncertain than that of Jaylen Brown. The Boston Celtics, in their quest to balance a championship contending roster and navigate the complexities of the league's luxury tax penalties, are willing to listen to offers for their star player. Even a four-time All-Star and 2024 NBA Finals MVP like Brown is not immune to trade rumors in this pivotal offseason. Boston finds itself in a delicate financial position, aiming to avoid the second apron of the luxury tax, a status that comes with severe penalties and restrictions. To make room for future moves and potentially add to their core of Jason Tatum, the Celtics will have to move at least one player from their championship contending roster. While some may assume Brown's trade value is too high to risk dealing, the Celtics may be forced into making a bold move for the long-term health of the franchise. And one team in particular is emerging as a prime candidate to be a key player in this drama. On a recent episode of NBC Sports Boston's The Offseason special, Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated raised an eyebrow-raising possibility. The San Antonio Spurs could be the team to watch the closest when it comes to a potential Jaylen Brown trade. Mannix noted that while a deal sending Brown to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis Antetokounmpo has been a popular scenario in NBA circles, there's a more realistic trade partner for Boston in the Spurs. Why? Well, the Spurs are not just looking to make a splash in the short term. San Antonio has a long-term vision, centered on the unparalleled potential of Victor Wembanyama, their generational big man. The Spurs may not be interested in mortgaging their future for a quick championship window with Giannis, especially if that window is likely to close sooner than they'd like. A championship window with a clock ticking? Mannix delved deeper into the Spurs' thinking, suggesting that if they were to acquire Giannis, they'd have to give up pieces that are integral to their long-term vision. While pairing a player like Giannis with De'Aaron Fox could make the Spurs an immediate contender, the problem lies in the aging process. Fox, in his late 20s, and Giannis, in his early 30s, would create a scenario where, just as the Spurs might contend for titles, their roster would start to age out. This creates a situation where, in a few years, Wembanyama could find himself looking around, wondering who his future teammates would be. For San Antonio, it's a balancing act between pursuing immediate success and building something sustainable around their young superstar, Wembanyama. Mannix suggests that this long-term view is why the Spurs are hesitant to give up young, potentially franchise-altering assets like Stephon Castle, who could emerge as a key second option alongside Wembanyama in the coming years. In contrast, the Celtics offer the Spurs a deal that fits more within their long-term strategy. With Boston's willingness to part ways with Jaylen Brown, the Spurs would likely be able to pull off a trade without having to sacrifice their coveted young pieces like Castle. Instead, the centerpiece of the deal could revolve around the number, second overall pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, a pick that could very well land them Rutgers standout guard Dylan Harper, one of the most coveted prospects in this year's draft class. Brown for the number. 2 pick and more? This is where things get interesting. The Celtics, with their sights set on improving their roster without further exacerbating their financial strain, could look at San Antonio's young assets as a golden opportunity. If you're Boston, Mannix explains, you're not going to ask for a Stephon Castle. You're not going to get a Stephon Castle in a potential Jaylen Brown deal. You would get the number, 2 pick back in return. You would get the Devin Vassals, the Keldon Johnsons, future first-round capital. That's something I'd watch if and when the Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff shakes itself out over the next few weeks. The Celtics could leverage this trade to retool their roster for the future without having to sacrifice their championship window entirely. A trade with San Antonio could bring in promising young players like Vassell or Johnson, along with additional draft picks that would give Boston the flexibility to continue competing while also building for the future. But the real value for Boston could lie in the number. Second pick, which could allow them to acquire Harper, who's widely regarded as one of the top players in this draft class. In essence, This deal could reshape the Celtics into a more balanced, future-oriented team, giving them both the talent and financial flexibility to continue their pursuit of championships. San Antonio's ultimate gamble, adding Brown to the Wemby equation. For the Spurs, acquiring Jaylen Brown would represent a bold leap forward, adding him to a roster that already boasts Wembanyama and Fox.